Hello, welcome to Insights in Action with Orange 142, where we interview agency leaders and business owners to uncover the journeys, the strategies, and the insights that drive their success. At Orange 142, we're all about transforming brand stories into impactful digital experiences through innovative media and marketing solutions. And today, I am lucky to be joined by Nikole of Shield Bar Marketing. How's it going, Nikole?
It is going well, Shiv. Thanks for asking.
Yes, where are you calling in from?
I am in a town called Sahuarita, Arizona, which is south of Tucson and about 37 miles north of the Mexico border.
I know exactly where that is because I was raised in Arizona in
Ah,
Phoenix and I went to college in Tucson.
not a lot of people know about
Yeah.
Sahuarita, so yes,
Yes.
it's a
Yes,
beautiful area.
you guys have some nice wine country around. Not too
Yes,
far, right?
Sonoita is
Yes.
45 minutes on the other side of the mountains and totally different climate than the desert here, but they do have some really good wine.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I've been lucky to go a couple of times, which is nice. So I would love to start this off by learning a little bit about your background. What brought you all the way to Southern Arizona as well, and also the background of Shield Bar Marketing.
Okay, well, thank you for that. I actually call Western South Dakota home. That's where I started my first business in my 20s with a business partner that we ran for 6 years and then sold. It is a horse publication and it is actually still going today. So it we started that in '02 and it's still going on its third owner. So that's pretty awesome to see. But while I owned that business, I actually met my husband while he was going to college and finishing up his engineering degree. And actually sold the business 2 days before I got married, and we moved to Iowa for his career. He is a software engineer. And while in Iowa, I worked for a large regional printing company, and then I also worked for GoDaddy for a year and a half. And after leaving GoDaddy, I decided I wanted to keep my mom brain engaged because I had a 1 year old at that time, and decided to start Shield Bar Marketing. And so I started that in March of 2013, and my first client is still with me today, which is awesome. We appreciate that very much. And we ended up moving to Arizona 7 years ago now. I deliberately built Shield Bar Marketing to be a remote company because I knew we'd eventually transfer for my husband's career. And of course, that's what brought us to Arizona. But it has been a very good move for Shield Bar Marketing also. When we moved here, we joined the chamber and we ended up being the new business of the year in 2018. And then I was invited to be in the mini Shark Tank competition that the town of Sahuarita hosted. And I also started a referral networking group for small businesses in 2018, which
Wow.
resulted in 2019 being named one of the most influential people in the AZ19 region. And so I'm very actively involved with the Chamber of Commerce and the town of Sahuarita, plus running the Advantage Alliance Referral Networking Group. And actually, just last week, we won for the third year in a row Reader's Pick for Best Marketing Services in the AZ19 region also.
That's awesome. Wow. A lot of moving around, which is cool, but also it sounds like you guys have really set your roots in Arizona now. And referral groups are such a nice way, especially for marketing agencies to get business. It's such a nice way to if you can build that trust within your community, it's such an amazing way to get continual business and then just doing really good work. How many other there's usually a marketing agency in almost every group these days, but I think that there's just a few really that truly provide good work for their clients and people trust sending over their people in their network too. Has that kind of been your experience as well?
Definitely. We want to develop long-term relationships with our clients. And the way you do that is with trust
Yes.
and providing results. And we have clients who have been with us since day one. So that helps there immensely. And then earlier this year, I actually acquired another marketing agency out of Oklahoma. And one of the clients that came on board with them has been with that agency for 25 years.
Wow.
And so the team that joined me from that agency, plus the clients, like we want that longevity. We want to prove that we know what we're doing. And as a full service agency, we give those clients one point of contact to handle everything so they don't have to worry about having 10 different providers. If they want pay-per-click advertising or meta advertising or a website, we can do all of that through our team.
Wow. And so you mentioned something there that really caught my attention. Your mission is to focus on bringing honesty and integrity to the online world. And so, how do you guys ensure that these values shine through in the work that you deliver to clients, particularly in such a competitive digital space?
Yeah, that saying comes back from the way I grew up. I grew up on a working cattle and sheep ranch where you shook a hand and you considered it done. You didn't have to check in and
Yeah.
micromanage to make sure the job got done. And
Hmm.
that's one of the biggest things is we want to make sure that when we tell our clients this is what we're going to execute, we execute.
Hmm.
And the projects are done. Yes, they're involved because it's their business. We need their point of view, their wording. But then after a project is completed, we go back and we analyze the metrics with them and we help explain what those different KPIs are. So that way they understand the return on investment that they're getting. We really want our clients to invest money in marketing, not spend money on
Yeah.
marketing.
Hmm. Yeah, wow, I love that. It's yeah, it's I always find it so interesting how these obscure things in people's backgrounds that you wouldn't really give much thought to really set the stage for who they become. Because for you, just growing up on a ranch, who would have thought that something like that could relate to marketing? But here you are. It's that, hey, I'm gonna do what I say I'm gonna do, which is you don't always find that in the market. You don't find that in a lot of the business world. It's just those things, and it's those simple things that scale, right? So simple scales, and just doing what you say you're going to do. That's such an amazing thing that you can take from your background to now. Is that eh, have you found that's always guided you throughout all your client relationships as well?
It has. When I worked at GoDaddy, I was an inbound customer service rep for them, aka sales. And literally, at least once a week, somebody would call in crying, literally crying,
Mm-hmm.
because they had given somebody $10,000 and didn't have a website delivered,
Hmm.
or they gave somebody access to their domain name and it got stolen and they couldn't get it back. And I'm like, this is not how you do business. I don't believe, even though we're online, that you need to take advantage of people.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things with my people who work with me, our clients and our customers both. That is our guiding thing is we want to make sure we're transparent with what we're doing, why we are doing it. We will educate our client as much as they want to be educated. Some of them just say, just get it done. I don't care as long as the phone rings. But others have questions. Why are we doing this? And why do we do this first versus that? And when are we going to add this and stuff like that? And just educating them and backing it up with those metrics is very beneficial.
Yeah. And you're passionate about helping home service providers, which is definitely, I used to be the marketing director for a custom home building company, so I understand a little bit about their challenges. But for you, what unique challenges do these businesses face in building an online presence, and how does Shield Bar Marketing help them stand out?
Yeah, with home service industries, there can be a dime a dozen.
Mhm.
If you pick up the old yellow pages, everybody was in there alphabetically, and you
Yeah.
had to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to have ads. It can be a cyclical nature, especially here, like in southern Arizona. We have the snowbirds come and go. So 6 months of the year, there might be a golf cart running in the garage door, or the springs break more often in garage doors when there's extreme temperature changes and stuff like that. And so you need to keep branding
Hmm.
and specific advertising out in front of people. Branding is to keep your logo and your name recognized in your local area.
Hmm.
Whereas the advertising, we want to go after those active buyers who know they have a problem. They probably went to back out of their garage this morning and the door didn't open. So they're on their phone and they're like, hey, Google, garage door near me. And so you need to make sure your website has the SEO. So you come up, you need to make sure your Google business is optimized. The new Apple Business Connect needs to be optimized. Some of the new vehicles have Apple Maps automatically installed on it. You need to play both games. And you have to stay top of mind because if your toilet backs up or your air conditioning quits or your garage door doesn't open, that's an active buyer who needs you now. They have a problem and they're looking for a solution. And they may not say, oh, I'm going to call that same company again because in the heat of the moment, they're like, I just need the first available.
Yeah.
So you have to do that combination of branding and keeping in touch with past clients while still being towards the top of the search engines, whether that's pay-per-click advertising or SEO or having your directories optimized.
You see so many times with, especially with HVAC companies and plumbing companies, that they focus just on that aspect of it. Just on, okay, if there's an emergency, so I'm gonna, somebody told me to invest in SEO and somebody told me to invest in PPC, so that's all I'm gonna do. But there's so many other services that both of those companies provide. So I love that whole active versus passive customer unique thing that you bring to it. And I'm sure that just like you said, there's a lot of education involved with people who have usually been pretty blue collar their whole lives working, and so they don't understand that marketing piece. So there's a couple of conversations that need to be had with those. A, marketing is not a cost, it's an investment. And B, you need to be attacking every part of the funnel. And then obviously sharing with them what a funnel is and how it works. So it seems like you guys have really got that down to a process now.
Yes, and one of the biggest things is making sure you have a CRM in place and remarketing to your existing clients.
Mm,
Like doing a database reactivation if you need to. There's a garage door company here that we've been doing marketing for them for at that point 6 years, and I kept after them. I'm like, we need to remarket to your people. And finally, 5,000 people in the CRM later, they said, yeah, let's do it. And so we did a remarketing campaign that was a combination of email and SMS marketing. And now about 35% of their calls are from past clients.
wow.
So it does work, but you have to have that CRM in place in order to collect that data too. And that is something we can help them implement if they want to, or they can use one of the numerous different apps that have been developed specifically for the homeowners.
Yeah. Well, that kind of brings a bigger question, and you may have already mentioned this a little bit, but I'd love to dive a little bit deeper. You've mentioned wanting to counter unscrupulous business practices in the industry. What are some of the most common pitfalls you see small businesses fall into when working with digital marketers, and how do you help them avoid these traps?
One of the things is, especially in the last year and a half with AI being so prevalent, you have to still have a human touch. You can't just let AI run your marketing, write your content, and you still need to have a person have their hands in it. Yes, definitely use it for ideation, but don't expect your full marketing strategy to be there because you
Yeah.
need to look at their local region, their local competitors, what is actually moving the needle. And one of the biggest things, especially with the new FTC crackdown on fake reviews, you
Mm,
need to have legitimate reviews across multiple platforms. You can't just rely on Google. What happens if your Google gets suspended?
yeah.
You also need to be on Yelp. You need to be on Apple Business Connect. You need to be on Angie. You need to be on all of those platforms. And so you need to make sure you're asking your clients for reviews, but you don't want an agency that's going to go write fake reviews for you. That will
Yeah.
get you shut down fast.
Yeah.
And a lot of our consumers are savvy enough, they recognize that's not a real review anyway.
Yeah.
And so you need to make sure that the company that is doing work for you, where's the traffic coming from? We don't want a bunch of fake followers on Facebook or Instagram. It's not going to do us any good to have 1,000 people from India
Yeah.
when our local market is Scottsdale.
Right.
We need to make sure you're in front of real people that have real pocketbooks and real intent to eventually buy something.
Definitely. Yeah. No, it's such a good point. I think everybody gets lost in follower numbers and they hear something from somewhere. And I think also one big thing I saw in home services and a lot of small business was was that people hire their young niece or nephew that knows a little bit about marketing, but that'll do it might do a little bit of good, but you really need experts who have the tools, who pay for those tools that are expensive and they get volume discounts that can go out and actually do really good work for you. What, just last question here. You've had this long, tenure with Shield Bar Marketing, very successful. What are you looking forward to most in the coming years?
I have 6 more years before my son graduates high school. And so my goal is over the next 6 years to do some more acquisitions and also organic growth and have hopefully my now COO step into the role as CEO. And then I can just be an advisor
Mhm.
at that point in time. But we have a lot of companies we want to help between now and then. And one thing as a business owner that I think sometimes we forget about to appreciate is how many people we're affecting, whether it's hiring employees and providing a good work environment, or how many business owners that we're helping them grow their business. And that affects their families, that affects their employees. And the more we can help businesses grow, the more people we can help in their local area have a
Yeah,
better life.
absolutely. Especially with home services. That's amazing. Well, this has been so great, Nikole. Where can people learn more about you? Where can people learn more about your agency?
So if they want to learn more about our agency, our website is shieldbar.com. And if they want to connect with me, LinkedIn is probably the best place. And I'm the only Nikole Haumont, Nikole, in the world. So I'm pretty easy to find if you spell my name properly.
Awesome. That sounds great. And I'll have everything linked in the show notes below as well. Thank you so much for being on, Nikole.
Yes, thank you, Shiv.